morning, good morning, good morning. Or good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. How was everybody? Sam feels amazing, man. I'm assuming that was in reference to the trippy music. I just found a new artist on Epidemic and I'm absolutely in love. What's up, Moonraid? Ben over on YouTube was just catching up on the last stream VOD, and here I am, morning, afternoon. Hello. Great name, by the way. Mommy Robble, batten down the hatches, ladies and gents. We about to sip some coffee and work. That's right. Good morning, Zach. It's going well. I'm missing my favorite coffee cup today. I got the Go Army version. I was sipping coffee, making some sketches for the stream, and then watching Charlie Marie wrestle with Webflow, which was it's always great to see somebody else in the trenches. Delicious goat meal. Today's the start of the Adobe XD challenge. Oh, okay. What do you have? Is that a link? Do you have a link for that, or is this like a personal thing? I'm kind of eyeballing some different options for critiques, because I think it'd be cool to like put out, not necessarily an assignment, but do a challenge on stream where we put out a prompt and then people do the prompt and then we kind of take a look. Could be cool. Okay, so it's an official like XD thing right now. Charlie's awesome. Yeah, she is. Adobe Live. Let's take a look. No, don't play. I don't see it. I see the YouTube channel or the like the video content thing, but I'll see if I can find it though. Well, cool. That's great. Oh, there it is. Okay. Good morning, Justin. You know, it's funny. I don't know where you're from, Justin, but I grew up with a guy named Justin Howell. Spells exactly the same. That's crazy. Is the challenge a weekly thing? I don't know. All right, so it says build your XD skills in just 9 challenges, March 29th through April 23rd. Each day you'll receive a challenge, and then you join the community chat to stay informed and connect with others, and watch the daily live show, get started, and ask questions. Finally, share your work and get feedback from mentors and others. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. Matter of fact, I don't know why I'm not involved in this. I'm gonna have to email my folks over at XD and go, what the hell, man? Still page designs, no Webflow yet. Webflow's gonna be soon though. I'm thinking Monday of next week, be able to start. Yeah. Raidus. Good to see you. My weekend was pretty good. It was a lot less productive than I had planned, but sometimes that's the way weekends go. Hung out with the kids a lot, which is awesome. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Okay, so story time. Yesterday I buried a bee. Bumblebee. So we have these bees here in Clemson that drill into the side of your house. Like they leave holes that are literally, no lie. I mean, they're probably 2 centimeters in diameter. They're massive. They're called carpenter bees, and we looked them up before, and apparently they're a common pest. And apparently, like from what we found before we ventured down this path, is that they're not pollinators. They don't contribute to whatever. Turns out that might be a little bit of like propaganda, because we found some other things that says that like it's definitely a pollinator and contributes to the ecosystem. So we feel kind of bad, but there was one flying around, and it was starting to drill into the deck. And like, guys, they will turn like a deck into it looks like a piece of Swiss cheese. There's so many holes in it. So I smacked it out of the air, and my 5-year-old saw it. She was like, "Daddy, no!" She ran down, and she saw this thing laying there. And I was like, I don't know if it stings. I don't know if it's like, I don't know. So we did a little digging. We did some actual research, and it turns out that the males have yellow faces, and they don't have stingers. Only the females do. So we picked him up, and obviously this thing's toast, like done. But she wanted to take care of it. So this was on Sunday. So she built a whole habitat for this bumblebee, and it was crawling around, and I was expecting for this thing to pass into the next life in an hour maybe, but it comes time for Willow's bedtime, and it's still crawling around. It's still like it's still hanging out. And she's like, "I am the bee queen. He loves me. He just wants to be with me." And I'm just like, "Oh my God, this is terrible." So we put her to bed, and I'm thinking, like, the bee's had it. By the end of the morning, or by the end of the night, when we wake up in the morning, the bee's done. It's gonna be gone. So we walk out, and the bee's still alive in the morning, even though it was like 35 degrees on Sunday night. And so, Willow's carrying it around, and I feel terrible for this bee, because like a 5-year-old is just like holding on to it. Like, it went to the grocery store with her. It went like everywhere. And you're gonna have to stuff him out with a little bee pillow. Well, finally it got to the point where, like, I'm pretty sure it was like dead. And when we told her, it was like this whole emotional thing. I mean, she started bawling. She was like, "This bee is my friend. This bee is like, my pet," all this kind of stuff. And I felt like it just ripped my heart out. And so yesterday afternoon, we had a funeral for a bee with a pastor, because Grandpa is a pastor. It was a whole ceremony. The bee was buried in a box with flowers, and we have a tombstone. Now all I want to do is catch another bee that's gonna like stay alive for longer. It was so sad. It honestly, like, it broke my heart, and it was one of those things where, like, it was her first encounter with death, so that was an interesting explanation, and like, I don't even know how we navigated that, but it was just like, whew. Yeah. So yeah, we had a funeral for a bee yesterday. It was very, very like the bird funeral from The Office. Yeah, no fire, but like, yeah, there's a lot of heavy stuff happened in the last like 24 hours. It's crazy. Oh man. Yeah, exactly. Broke my heart. This one died, that I killed this one, and then I want to catch another one and hopes it lives a little bit longer. But the thing is there's this YouTube video out there of this guy who nursed one to health from finding him in the woods, and his name's Watermelon. This bee, same kind of thing. It was a carpenter bee. This thing would fly around and land on his hand, or all this kind of stuff. And Willow and I watched that, and that's where she got all the ideas for her new pet. It's just crazy. A little Viking funeral for the bee. Oh man. Is it just starting or any? We're just starting. Yep. Oh man, that's really cool. One of your clients is a beekeeper, and you get free organic honey. Man, that's great. So yeah, that was the big event in my life yesterday. It was a 4 p.m. bee funeral. He's got a tombstone and everything. It's all painted, and man, dad life. All right, so today we're going to be working on a couple of list pages in XD. And I feel like we've got the menu kind of sorted out. I feel like the typography is really getting sorted out on the page. And now we just need to put together list pages. So this is the resource page, content page, you know, like a listing of all the articles. And then finally, I'm assuming that, you know, there's going to be a work page in there somewhere. It's probably not going to be linked from the main menu, but it might need to be surfaced at some point. So we'll lay that out as well. Oh. Hey Razor, how'd you do on your how'd you do it in your job interview? AA needs to prepare for parent life. I don't think you can. I honestly don't think you can prepare. It's just one of those things where, like, you're just gonna have things like this come up, and you know, you just gotta have your self-centered and your morals squared away, and you know, guide them as best as you can. Yeah, that's crazy. Congrats on the interview though, for real. That's great. Yeah, exactly. No prep. And having a dog is nothing like being a parent. It's really funny when people say that. It's really, yeah. Oh, MDS in the chat. What's up? Good to see you, dude. I read your post the other day. I'm glad that you're back. Yeah, dad life, man. It's crazy. I love the idea of the Viking funeral though. Next time, next B. Yeah. Who'd I miss in the chat? Moonraid, hello. Good to see you back. Let's see, did I miss anybody else? Probably. Sire is a no. All right, let's get to work. Okay, so but before we do that, critiques will happen at 1 o'clock, and we're probably not going to take a break in the middle because we got a late start. Like I said, in Discord, I didn't want to interrupt Charlie and all the things that she had going on. I was also watching, so so yeah, we'll work on these design files for about 2 hours, like maybe an hour and a half. The next bee needs to be floss glued to it that your daughter can use as a leash. Oh my God. That's funny. Hey, Raphael from Italy. Hello. Franz, what's up? Anyway, I can twist your arm into choosing me for critiquing. Dude, I called on you last time. You weren't here. That's like 2 times in a row that you missed it. Rip you apart right down to the seams. I will do so. Ah, tax season. Yeah, true. I forgot you're an accountant. Which, holy smokes, that the 15th is coming up, isn't it? If you haven't done your taxes, now is the time. Call Squalldog. But yes, if you come back around 1 o'clock, I will be critiquing. They extended the deadline. Oh, for COVID stuff? May 17th. Okay. All right, we're doing one seltzer today. The seltzer of the day is Good and Gather Strawberry Mango. Not sponsored until... This is actually my favorite. It's also already cold, so no ice. Please make some UI related videos as well. It's difficult for me to talk about UI. Like, web design is its own thing. UI is product design kind of thing is totally separate. If you're looking for that kind of stuff, I highly recommend NDS's channel. I can talk about UX in a broad sense, but I don't like teaching what I don't know. It's a little awkward. All right, let's get into this. just to review what we've done so far, we've kind of settled on making both a light version and a dark version of the page. We're going to do some sort of switch. We haven't figured out like where that's going to live, but we did. We started off with the home page, which is going to look something like, where is it? Something like this. No scroll, just a hover effect. Okay. And then we did the now page. So we're using a 5-column layout. We got to do the hover effect for this. Maybe we can do that first. Okay, and then we'll do the resources page today, and then the content and work list pages, which should be very similar. These are pretty simple. Yeah. UI is different than web design. I think it is. When we're thinking about more product related stuff, like if you're doing product design, that's what a lot of people refer to as UI. But I have a very, I think about those two things very differently, web design versus product design. And UI is kind of the umbrella that both live under, but when people ask for UI design content, they're typically referring to product design. His name is MDS, Matt Smith, and he's MDS everywhere. No, this is Adobe XD. This is not Webflow yet. How long have I been doing this? Oh man, since 2006. That's when I built my first website in Flash. All right, so let's do the hover effect first, and then we'll move into the resources page. I keep forgetting to do that. This should be pretty simple. Let's go. Let's see. I found this YouTube video the other day, and it was awesome. Let's do this real quick so I can log into YouTube. All right. Story. And the title was like something like Batman's house tour, and it was just incredible. So I want to pull the thumbnail for that. Here we go. This house is absolutely beautiful. Show you guys one of the offices. It's like in the foyer.
And right up the foyer, you have 4 large size rooms. And guys, because this property is...
Look at that. It's just incredible.
Okay, and this is another room in the Hamptons.
So one of the things that I want to do on the now page is actually surface some of the things that I'm like into, including videos. So I'm going to pull this thumbnail and use this in the hover effect behind these things here. So you can see the challenge with these hover effects, especially with pulling in YouTube thumbnails or something like that. there's going to be an issue where if you're overlapping text, like if this were pulling from a content management system, you could get these conflicts where legibility is an issue. So with this, I mean, simply just moving it up or moving the image up would fix it. But I think that one of the rules that I'm going to have to make for this CMS whenever I'm entering things in is that these images just cannot have text in them, especially if we're going to do these fancy overlaps and stuff. Also make it a little smaller too. So I'll go back in here and pull just a screenshot from the video instead. It's the kitchen. There's the pantry, let's see. That'd be cool. Someone last time asked if I think about how I'm going to build this as I go. The answer is absolutely yes. So we're probably going to end up having to put an overlay over this, which is not ideal, but it'd be really cool if we actually could play the video in the background. That would be a hefty build. So I just turned on preserve scroll position. So I think when we activate this there we go. That's perfect. Yep. You don't always have to prototype things, but it's just nice to be able to feel how it works. pull one of these. His typography course is really great. I forgot that one was not inside of a div or a rectangle, excuse me. Why don't you like it? What's going on? Oh, it must be a web image. One of those new formats that XD does not like. Nope. It's really strange. Let's go just grab a screenshot. Collecting assets is one of the most tedious and boring things. I'm probably not going to stream it. But before the site actually goes into dev, the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create and gather all of the photographs, all of the illustrations and videos and all that kind of stuff that we need to finish the dev. Oops. All right, let's see how this looks. Yeah, like that. I like it. Always a struggle planning hover effects in Figma and XD. Oh, you like to play with it directly in Webflow? I mean, you guys will see like things change when you hit Webflow in any digital project. Like, I don't think I've ever done a website that comes out pixel perfect from the design software. There's always something that needs to be tweaked or something that needs to be changed. So you'll see things change, but it helps to just make sure that this is possible. And then here's the crazy thing. If we were to try this effect on a light background, we'd have some major issues, because what we start with is dark text, right? So we'd have to do something like expand this to fill like a specific area. And then change this text to like a light color. Because if you tried to do this where there's like an overlap where the text is not like contained in the image, there'd be an issue. So that was one of the things that I kind of flagged early on, is that if I wanted to do that hover effect, it'd have to be on a dark background. Otherwise we'd have to do some crazy stuff. It's not impossible, it's just it's easier to keep the text one color, because you know these things are just totally illegible right now. Or the other ones are, I guess. Again, it's not terrible, it's just it's better on a dark background. So that's why I like to at least map out hover effects in XD before moving into Webflow, so that I don't spend a bunch of time on something that just doesn't work. Why not make the whole thing in Webflow? I don't think Webflow is a very intuitive design tool. You don't have the freedom and the flexibility to just plop something on an artboard like you do with XD. Like with this thing. I mean, granted, you could put it inside of a div and then play around with the positioning, you know, especially if it was like position absolute. You know, you could play around with some margin padding and stuff like that. But I think that you'd wind up with a site that's not properly developed versus planning something in XD and then taking that plan to Webflow. It's like sketching something out before you paint. What about changing the overlay color to light for light mode? Oh, what's up, T-Rix? Good to see you. Yeah, we can do that. So, let's see. It's gonna have to be really light though. Definitely not as vibey though. Something like that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. You design something 80 to 90%, get it most of the way there, and then fill it in with your development tool of choice. Matt, you hand code a lot, right? Like you're one of those Swiss Army knife designers. This is cool, but maybe we just change. What if we did a color overlay? Oh God. That's pretty cool. Okay, cool. So with that out of the way, let's move into our resources page. You learned front end before Webflow existed. Got set in your ways. Hey, Sechieri. Yeah, this has been This is a good project now. We got a decent amount of artboards on screen. I feel like we can fill up the available area though. Challenge accepted. Because we still got to do mobile design and all that kind of good stuff. And mobile design, responsive stuff, I actually do in Webflow. But for the purposes of the video, I feel like I do need to lay it out in XD. It's just so easy to do when you're in Webflow, is just to, stack your columns and adjust your text and call it a day. But we'll go ahead and lay them out. Hey, Javier. Greetings from Colombia. All right. Let's start working on resources. So I'm calling it in the main nav. I've got basically now then resources and collaborate. I'm treating resources as like the bucket of all things that people are going to go to get something out of versus get to know me. So things like content, downloads, videos. What else do I have in there? Courses that I've authored, book lists, like design tools, setup guides, that kind of thing. So the resources page is kind of like the page where all of the beneficial content is going to be surfaced. This content didn't really fit. The word content did not exactly fit the project, so. I was so scared that wasn't going to fit on the page. Not going to lie. So scared. So one really dumb idea that I had was to, and it could be cool, but it's gonna be a pain, is to have this slider where the active item actually expands in width. So like these items would be the same kind of 1920 by 1080 aspect ratio, 60 by 9, and then when you slid them into view, then they would expand to fit the space. Just setting myself up for a headache, but I think it'd look really cool. So this would just be content, like all the recent blog articles and videos that I've done. I'm curious to see, let's see. What if I were to Oh, okay. Pull something like this in. So that would be weird. Because you'd have to have like a default crop on that. Could come up with some crazy stuff. Always dangerous opening up YouTube homepage on stream. Yeah. The algorithm has a mind of its own sometimes. So if we were to play it safe, that's the way we'd do it. Oh, what happened? Did I miss something? Holy smokes, Charlie, you were just raided? Thank you. My God. I gotta get audio alerts going. Thanks for the raid. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I gotta get audio alerts. Joy. That's a way to never get raided again. To not say thank you. If you guys don't already follow Charlie Marie TV, please do so because she's got awesome content. All right, I'm thinking that this is the right way to go because if we, for example, let's say we wanted to do that whole crop thing, we could end up with a something that looked a little bit like this, and that might encourage some curious users to like hover over it and swipe over, but I'm thinking we just don't mess with it because I'm going to be pulling from other people's YouTube channels. There's going to be a lot that I can't control, and I might throw just a filter on this with CSS and just make this like a black and white, a grayscale image, and maybe go color on hover or something like that. But yeah, the whole crop thing, I don't know if I want that headache. Oh, thanks. Charlie, you are auto-hosted on mine as well. Thanks, Pablo. I appreciate that. And hello to everybody on YouTube. Okay. Refer back to the sketch here. Okay, so... Keyboard shortcuts are not working. Or my mouse connection is not working. Hold on. You guys use the MX master 3. Let's see. XD. Okay, so it should be working. There it is. On this computer, sometimes the connections, for example, even the side scroll will turn off sometimes. It's kind of weird. Trackpad? Yeah, I got that too. But this is this is the Windows computer. All right. You can't set up custom short codes on a trackpad though. It's the one bad thing. Forgot to ask you guys, what are you working on today? Papa Gon's wrapping up your portfolio site. Nice. Internet Queen, editing product photography photos. Very cool. Boring Excel stuff. I've actually grown to love Excel over the years. Not Excel specifically, but the Google counterpart. What is it? Google Sheets. It's actually a cool image. I think I'm gonna replicate that. Yeah, that's nice. Nice vertical cadence. Actually don't know if I'm going to use that vertical or that horizontal rule there. Maybe. We'll see. So on the side here, I'm gonna make this a like a sticky filtering system. So we'll have courses, downloads, what else? Tutorials, setup guides, and tools. See, the thing that I'm wrestling with this rule is that in everything prior, we had the line on top, the rule on top. Then we had some meta text on the first column, and then the header was inset, and that was meant to be kind of like a subheader system. See, something like this. So the visual language that we've created puts the header on top, or puts the rule on top. But with this, you kind of want to put it on the bottom and have the heading on top, so that it kind of says, hey, everything under this umbrella falls under this headline. But the internal conflict that I'm having is that it doesn't fit the visual language that we've created so far. So it's a small thing, but you know, designer OCD, I guess. Something like that. So you're scrolling down, you hit this kind of navigation stays sticky there. Well, somewhere around the, like in alignment with the top menu. And then you're scrolling through the rest of this. You can filter these options there. That's where my head's at. Tim, you're developing a virtual gaming experience for a children's museum? Dude, what? That's awesome. Travis, you follow Excel too? Yeah, man, gotta get better at the game. John, a cold is no excuse. Gotta always be streaming. Internet Queen is kind of inspiring me to redo my website. Haven't touched it in forever. Oh, very cool. Yeah, so it's not... XD works as a design tool. So there's no link between XD and Webflow that I know of. So I'm going to lay everything out here, and then I'll have it up probably on this screen while I develop it. And I'll be looking back and forth between XD and Webflow. It's not ideal, but I honestly wouldn't trust like an export or anything like that from a design tool. Squarespace can be tricky because it's not as flexible as Webflow. So you kind of have to know Squarespace and the limitations that you have over there in order to design something in XD that will fit. Where can we find the playlist? It's all Epidemic Sound. So I have a player. Somebody made like a now playing widget for the stream, and I went to incorporate it, but I can't do that with Epidemic. It doesn't register anything from the browser, so I got to figure out how to display it. But it's all Epidemic Sound. Which, by the way, let me add a note because it's cool to put that on the site, on the Now page. Like the playlist of the week. Because then you can link to Epidemic's site, to the playlist. Yeah, Squarespace puts a lot of limitations on there. So if you're working in Squarespace for the actual implementation of the site, you have to know what those limitations are. And then you can design. It's going to be really frustrating if you lay out this beautiful website that's just not possible with your development tool. No one wants to hear you with a cold. All right, I guess you're off the hook. Fran, good to see you live. Moonraid, yeah, it's I'm not a fan of Squarespace. The Hamiltons, however, are fans of Squarespace. So they actually redid their website in Squarespace so that their team could update it with using an iPad. So that was kind of a bummer for us, but I respect it. I don't know if I like that line there. I'm thinking no. Hey, Festino, thank you for the follow. Let me take a look at my list here. Internet Queen, Morgan Isn't Funny, Sagsy, Palm Tree Emojis, Dirty Swede, Web Mamadou, Blended Designs, Blendy Designs. Thanks for the follow, everybody. Listen, a website is useless if you can't update it, and that's why the Hamiltons made the change from Webflow to Squarespace, because all they had to give their staff were iPads. So their brewery manager knew Squarespace really well, and so that's where they went. But it's a bummer. But like I said, if you can't update your website, like there's no point in having it, especially for their use case, so. It's kind of funny typing that as if someone's going to stumble upon my website and not already know about the future. But you gotta do those cross-linking, right? Backlinks matter, all that good stuff. That's cool. Let's see, fix position while scrolling. I wonder if it'll pick up. Nope. It does not work like sticky. But that's the goal. So as soon as this menu will hit the top of the browser, like somewhere around there, it'll stay. Okay, you see what I mean? The Logitech button just stopped working for this keyboard shortcut for the grid. Squalldog, I mean, it's nice, but you showed them what to do. Yeah, but at the same time, if they, like, obviously when COVID hit, they were one of the businesses that got shut down. They had to scramble. There was no budget to buy staff computer, that kind of thing. And they had to make some pretty drastic changes. What I wish they would have done, I wish that Josh would have called me like way beforehand, because I would have bent over backwards to help him out. You know, I would have made those changes that he needed, but I think he wanted to pull everything in-house, and you know, they made it through this by offering pickup options and stuff like that, and the website was an integral part of that whole thing. So that's the reasoning behind it. And you know, you got to do what's best for the business, and that's the thing that we preach on the channel a lot. It's like, when you design for clients, you're designing for them and not you. So if they need to make a shift like that, even though if it breaks your heart, it's for the best. Oh, hey, Greg. Good to see you. You don't know the future, Ben. This is a great plugin. I only wish that like you could do bulk replaces. So like I could grab this whole repeat grid and then just hit fill or something like that with this, but it doesn't work like that. Because if I had a folder of images, like I will have, for all of these items, I could grab them and drag them onto the artboard and it would work just fine. So for example, like if I went here, just grab these two images, it replaces the whole grid, but you have to download those images on your computer and stuff like that. And then with these placeholders, I'm just not very interested in doing that. Centaur, thank you. I hope you have a great week as well. Hold up. You can't do that on Figma? Oh, man. Yeah, this tool, that's amazing. This tool is really, really handy. Let's see. Let me see if I have a folder of just straight up images so I can flex on XD for a minute. You can also do the same thing with like a CSV or a text file. So you can bulk replace all the text in an image. Okay, so this was the first folder that kind of popped up. Oop. That's it. Just drag a whole folder of images onto a repeat grid, and it makes the change. XD. Good morning, Rom. All right, so Chalor has a question, and I think you asked Charlie. How do you choose the height of a section? I like to do it 100 vertical height, or just a particular size. Is there any rule of thumb? I think if you take a look at, so the way that I've been making these decisions, and you'll see, I'm designing like super zoomed out, so the user is never gonna see the website like this. So the way I like to figure out heights is by looking at it in an average browser size, and the aspect ratio and the resolution that I use is 1920 by 1080. And so I'm scrolling through, and so this section, you know, the heading section is probably what, 80% of the height. And I'm doing that because I want just a little sliver of these images to show up under the title so that it pulls people down and kind of forces the scroll. Right? And so once they start scrolling, it's pretty much, they're gonna keep scrolling, but by the time they get to the top of this section, they're already seeing the next thing. And so the way that I look at it is like, you know, it's almost slides. So we're taking a look at the browser aspect ratio, seeing how each section or each piece of the puzzle is going to fit. But the thing is that when you're developing, would not set the height of your section. I would allow the content to influence that. I would, you know, put some margin or padding in your page sections, but I wouldn't set the height for every single section. I would allow the content to influence that. But you can see, like with this, I don't want any visual noise or distractions when I get to this slide or this section of the page. So I have it, you know, blocked out on a normal aspect ratio. Same thing with this, like here's a header, but I also wanted, you know, there to be the indication that there's way more. So by the time you hit the header, these two things are grouped, they're associated with each other. So the headline describes what comes next here. So I wanted those to be close, and so, you know, it fills the screen. So that's the way I make those decisions. It's kind of a vague answer, but at the same time, working with height, there's so many variables that impact it that you can try to just pick one aspect ratio and one browser size and try to do your best on that. It's free flow to fit the narrative, but you also just want to like make sure that your content plays well and that makes sense together. Like whatever's on screen at any given moment makes sense to be one thing, or indicates that like, hey, this thing is continuing below. That's the way I think about it. I'm sure there's a better description or a better way to approach it, but and that's why you see, like, obviously if I have my grid on, you can just turn that off and you can see the page design. But this is why I am constantly going to the preview window. And when I don't have a stream active in a chat, I typically drag this window over to my second monitor and I just have that up. And I'm constantly kind of going back and forth and checking to see how it looks in an actual real browser aspect ratio. There's a horizontal line? What do you mean? What do you mean? All right, let's see. The only thing that we have left is the desk setup. That's just going to be a feature item, so we'll put that below here. Okay, so Adobe XD gives you horizontal lines. Kind of. All right, so these lines that you're seeing right here are the image borders to the noise texture that I have. So if you can see that, that's the noise texture, and I just have that on a repeat grid in the background, and it's locked. So if I unlocked it, you know, the lines would be blue. I can, you know, change the repeat grid if I wanted to. So that's that reason, but lock that back. On the artboard, what you can do is in XD, it allows you to set your let's see, scroll height. So right now, that's weird. Set that to 1080. And what that does is it sets this blue checkered line right here. And this is where you can set the aspect ratio for your preview window. So if it's 1920 pixels wide, to get that HD resolution, you do 1080 pixels high. So if I preview it, it goes there. If I take this off the artboard, let's say I just remove all the scrolling, and then I go to preview it, it previews the entire page, just like you see it on the design interface. So that's not what we want. We want to set that. So it allows you to set the viewport height. And I typically just set it to an HD resolution. So that way, when you preview, you get that nice scroll preview. Ninja tips. No. Just getting to know the design software, that's all. Yeah, that'll be cool. Let's see. All right, so the next one is articles, or content, I should say. So obviously we're surfacing the most recent content here. Matter of fact, I should probably link it here. So you'll start to see some patterns emerge when you get to this point in your own design. Like this block can literally be reused over and over and over again, even if there's different filters and different content over here. Let's see. So we got okay, let's see if I remember this. I think it's Command Shift Y. Yep. Too large. I need some lorem ipsum. I think I have a plugin actually. Hold up. Oh, I just bricked it. Oh no. Yeah, it's totally frozen. Wow. So it's not the computer. Too much lipsum. Boy, that'll teach me, my God. Let's try this one more time. Social ipsum. Oh, here we go. Ooh. Okay. So one of the questions was, does the outlined type disappear when I go to edit? It doesn't disappear, but it definitely changes. We inset that column. Mm-hmm. So this is something I've kind of wrestled with on multi-column design. Where does the CTA belong? Does it belong here next to the preview text? Does it belong under here? Probably under the preview, yeah. Okay, so here's what I just the thought process that just happened. I previewed the page, love the header, love the way this image sits here. Then when you get down here, it's a full screen image, and I don't want that. I want to associate this image with the copy below. So because you'd have to miss out on the top half of the image when you scrolled, it's not a big deal. I'm going to reduce the height of this image by that much. I don't know, what is that? 100 pixels or something? So that way I know that my my thumbnails are going to be kind of like a weird resolution or a weird aspect ratio, or it's just going to, crop in like we've done here. And that allows the entire image to show while still having more stuff down here. This text is way too big. There we go. You don't think Figma has that scroll feature where you can set the height of your preview? That's a pretty basic one. I would hope that Figma has that. I don't remember if it does or not. These things seem lonely without the rule. Yeah, that's nice. It's a good cadence. Okay, so this outline type does not go away because it's an actual typeface. So you can see here, vulture outline. The outline is built into the typeface. Whereas if I were to, let's change this up a little bit and just, okay, so you can see it, same typeface, but they've tweaked the width of some of these things so that the outline actually looks like it's made for the typeface. So if I were to remove the fill and then just set a border, let's go here, and then maybe made that what, 2, 1.5 to match. So you can see the difference between the two, where the actual border makes sense because some of these areas don't get closed in visually. But what you were asking is, as soon as I double click on this, it's going to show me this in with a fill, because that's the way that XD edits text. So escape out of there and then it goes back to outline. So that's probably what you're seeing. But with this version, because the outline is actually built into the font, it doesn't have that issue. You can type right on there. Outline type right now is super trendy. But you just kind of have to be careful that you're not getting weird closed in areas. I like that. I like that a lot. You use Figma all the time and you don't know where that is? Interesting. Commando. That's weird. Ask, or AKA Chris himself. What's up? I have not seen you in the chat before. Hello. All right. I'm like that. I'm liking that. Okay. 2 of the list pages complete. Now we just need to do a work page. Commando, while I appreciate that, probably not the place for that in the chat. Thank you, mods. All right. Oh, that's one thing in XD that really annoys me, is that when you're renaming your artboard, it doesn't work like a normal text file, because you can hit the escape on a normal text block and it will just kind of remove you from the editor, or remove you from the text editor. But if you hit escape on renaming an artboard, it actually just reverts to the old stuff. So content, you have to hit return. Okay, so you can see we're starting to fall into patterns here, and the patterns are what we're going to use to just kind of flesh out our assets and our components and the design systems. Like this 2-column grid with the filterable menu, this is something that we'll use on the next list page and stuff like that. So some people ask if you create the design system first, or the style guide for the website first. And I always say that, like, it's better to start designing and get into the mode, or into the at least halfway through the design, before you start standardizing things. You know, work messy. So like if we go over here, we started creating the design system when we were making these early iterations, we'd be way off, right? So this is the way to go. Okay guys, I'm gonna take a quick break. I've been drinking a lot of water, so I need to hit the head, and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back. And then, yes, I did wash my hands with soap. As a dad, that's one of the questions that I ask most frequently. Did you wash your hands? The answer is always yes. with soap, you never know where you're gonna get. Could be a yes, could be a no. 9 times out of 10, she's going right back to the bathroom. Yeah, we're about to get into some critiques. I think what I'm gonna do is finish out the work page because that has a slightly different layout. But it's pretty simple, and then we'll get into some critiques from Discord. How you guys doing? You hanging in there? Jordy, thanks for sharing. You're welcome. Friend Joe, it's a big file. I think what it will do is when we start moving into responsive, we'll split it. We'll do like a desktop version of the personal site, and then we'll do a responsive version, and we'll pull out all of like the final design into a kind of a fresh file. Delicious goat meal, yes. You need that critique. Gotta do it. With Webflow, can you use any font type even if it's not designed for web? Yes and no. So you can upload any font format. Like, I don't want to say any. Who knows if there's weird ones out there, but like TTF, OTF, WOFF. They're all, you know, available for upload. The thing is that some typefaces, if they're not designed for web, they're a little heavy and they can bog things down. And if you have too many options in Webflow, that can really decrease your performance. So the answer is yes with an asterisk. It's like yes, but be careful. Also, you want to make sure that you have the right license for it as well. Hope that helps. Okay, let's go back over here. Jam out the projects page. That. Oh, it crashed. Damn, man. Are we back? Every stream, it's just a tradition now, guys. I don't know what to say. It was just like every stream we're gonna. Are we back? Looks like we're back. No, it says offline. Oh man. All right, now it says I'm live, but unstable. What is going on? Yeah, we're gonna get into critiques. Click. Oh man. Anyway, I think it's just gonna happen every stream while we live here in Clemson. Basically, we pay for gig internet, which should be a full 1,000 megabits speed, and the speed is there. I've done several speed tests. It's consistency. For some reason it just drops out like 3 or 4 times a day. Don't click the end stream button. No, it's not 1 gigabyte up. It's I think it's supposed to be 200 up or something. Plenty. Like seriously, it's plenty of bandwidth. We had worse internet in Los Angeles, and it was better quality streams. It's crazy. Kicking the LAN cable, yeah, maybe. And I restart the router before every stream. I try, guys. I'm sorry. All right, all good now. That's good. Well, cool. All right, so we were working on the projects. Anyway, what I was saying is a couple of the websites that I really respect have the filtering system above the fold here. And they put it like on top of these images or on top of like the content below. And I really, really like that. I like the way it looks. But the thing is that with the way that I'm doing my headers here, putting the big old chunky H massive so close to the bottom of the screen, it pushes the preview image off. So you kind of, unless I wanted to move it up and center things, it kind of loses the feel, which is why I think for this projects page, just duplicate that over. I think I'm going to stick to what I've been doing and just go like this. Because again, this is one of those pages that like not many people are going to see. It's going to be kind of, it's definitely not going to be surfaced in the main menu or the home page or anything like that. So here we go. So this should only take literally 5 minutes to finish here. Do maybe 55, something like that. I just want to keep it super simple. Zach is back from Taco Bell. Party can start now. Dude, I love Taco Bell. It's so bad for you, but man. Whew. And it tears me up every time I eat it. It's just, it's a bad situation afterwards. So whenever we're out and about, I was like, what do you want for lunch? I'm like, oh, let's get Taco Bell. She's like, no. Definitely no. Told my brother what we need to do is just like have a sleepover where we get Taco Bell and pizza rolls and play video games like classic, like GoldenEye all night and just chill. He's in. I think we need a arrow on that. Let's see. Something like that. So obviously this is not a priority page. But if someone does wind up here, what I want them to do is catch the title, but also just like appreciate whatever hero image that I'm going to use for the case study. Because I think that that's going to draw in more clicks than anything. Like, what does it look like? Let's see how this looks. So obviously this menu is a sticky menu there. Here we go. Pretty. So pretty. Is there an artboard tool? Hold on. Yay. Okay, so let's see. Nope. It's kind of annoying to resize the artboard to like scroll up every time you want to do it. So you scroll up, grab the artboard, resize. Okay, that's it. List pages complete. Did it go away again? I just saw the Stream Elements notification in chat. Whoa, weird. The beard internet quality needs to match. Yeah. We're actually having two separate internet services connected at the house. So we'll have the office will be on its own connection, and then everybody else will have a separate connection. So that'll be good. Oh, LAN parties. Yeah. The original Halo. Those were legendary LAN parties. Yup. Okay, good. I'm glad. All right, let's do this critique. I feel accomplished today. We got the 3 pages that I wanted to finish today: resources, content, and projects. And then we've got the hover effect on this now page kind of figured out. The beast. What I have been dreading this entire time is the My Story page, because that's going to be different. Like these are content-based pages that are almost templatized. So with the resources page, it's a basic list. With the content page, it's a basic list. My Story page is actually going to be like, the layout is going to have the story is going to have a lot of impact on the layout. So that's the thing that I've been kind of procrastinating, and now I'm out of time. So next time it's going to be the story page. Yeah. Anybody else work like that, where they save the hardest thing to do for last? Yeah. My OCD really wants to replace all these images, but not going to do it. Yeah, I'm pumped. Those look good. They look good. You do? Yeah. This is going to be the most complex thing, so we'll do it last. Makes no sense whatsoever. All All right. So we are doing some critiques. So let's see. Squalldog, I think you've been waiting for this for a while now. So jump in the waiting room, and I'll pull up your piece of work to critique. Oh, you missed the menu stream? Oh. Well, there's a VOD up. Okay, let's see. Where is Squalldog stuff? Here it is. Okay. Squalldogs.com. Go desktop. See if we can pull him into. Oh, not Slack. Want Discord. Here we go. Okay.
Lord, here we go.
Here we go. What's up, dude?
Not a whole lot, man. Just sitting here doing these debits and credits and hoping to break out of the accounting crap.
Okay, cool. All right. Guys, can you hear him okay? Squalldog, go ahead and say something. What's your real name? Do you care to share?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Real name is Dean Justice II.
You said Dean?
Yes, Dean is in the Dean of Justice.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. All right, great.
Keep in mind, this site is very bare bones. I literally just really kind of started work on it, so I've got a lot of different things that I'm still trying to put together so I can start building this. But yeah, that's me right there on the About Me part.
Okay. All right, cool. I want to resize this to kind of a normal resolution so that we're on the same page. Window resizer, and we'll go here. Okay. All right, so walk me through the site.
Okay, so basically I had a little design firm / freelancing firm that I did when I first started in graphic design about 10 years ago, and went through some personal stuff, damaged the brand, ended up having to close it down, started a new thing. And for a long time I was because I didn't know what I wanted to go under as far as my quote unquote agency name goes. I went under Dean Justice II graphic designer just because I couldn't think of anything better. When I started streaming and I created my Squalldog persona, I decided that maybe it might be a better idea to consolidate everything under the Squalldog brand. Mm-hmm. And so just build a brand around my streaming and my content creation persona, but also use that as a way to offer, the branding and everything. And it's actually funny because, like I said before, I actually stumbled on a video from the future, which made me completely rethink my whole approach to graphic design. And everything that like you and Chris talked about on building a brand and everything is exactly what I've been trying to do, but I couldn't put a name to what it was until I saw what y'all were doing, and I'm like, that's it. That's what. And so, yeah.
Well, very cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I can talk a lot, so if you need me to be quiet, then just tell me to shut up.
No. Okay, do me a favor and let's move your mic away from the screen just so I don't get any echo. I'm sure that would be a little bit annoying for the peeps. But first things first, how do you want me to look at this site? Do you want me to critique the site layout and design? Do you want me to take a look at specific work? Like what can I help you with here? How can I serve you best right now?
The first thing I'm trying to figure out is, let me put on push.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so now I can turn my volume back up. So basically, what I need is one. Do you think it's a good idea for me to approach this as an encompassed, all-inclusive brand in regards to my creation persona? But two, so I build everything mainly in WordPress when I build websites for like myself or my clients. My plan is to put a few video. I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. A few video creation persona, and then a few video content. So I build everything mainly in WordPress when I build websites for like myself or my clients. My plan is to put a few video. I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. A few video. I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. A few video case studies in here where instead of having people have to sit there and read a bunch of crap about what I've done, is actually make videos for them to watch instead. Like, you know, a 3 or 4 minute video for each client, have like 5 or 6 clients that I can put on there that I can show what I did for them, how it helped them, all that good stuff. And all that good stuff. So like my main thing here with the site, sorry, I'm ADD and I'm getting distracted. The main thing I want to figure out is I don't know. I don't want people to get confused when they go to the site. Like, I don't want them to be confused, you know, is he a streamer or is he a designer? Is he both? Like, I want it to be very obvious that that's what I'm putting myself out there as, is somebody that does both content creation, streaming, but I'm also a designer / brand strategist. Okay.
All right. So this is good. So basically we're evaluating not just the website, but just your company as a whole. I'm going to ask you something. When you're in the mood for a really good steak, where would you go?
Besides my house?
Besides your house. If you wanted to go to a restaurant, where would you go to get a really good steak?
There's a place down here called Downstairs at the Loft. If I don't want to pay for a steak, I mean, if I don't want to do it myself, if I don't want to pay for it, there's a place here called Downstairs at the Loft that is just absolutely just, I mean, it's one of the best steaks you can get aside from like a Ruth's Chris or something like that.
Okay. So I don't know that down at the Loft, but I do know Ruth's Chris. So what else is on the menu at Ruth's Chris? Do you know?
I do not. I know them about their steaks, and that's about it.
Yeah, because they have great steaks, right? So if you want a really good steak, you know to go to Ruth's Chris. Now, would you ever expect to get a delicious, mouth-watering fillet from one of those buffet places that has everything under the sun?
No, I would not.
That same principle can be applied to this situation right here. When I see this, what I see is a buffet. It's one of those, like, we serve Chinese food, we serve wings, pizza, there's a salad bar, and there might be a person sneezing in your food in a second. That's what I'm seeing here. It's too much. You can be a designer who streams, who creates, who also video edits, but this site should serve the user and not be a representation of like who you are in totality. So from the perspective of the user, first let's actually talk about that. Who do you want to be on this site? Is it potential clients?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so what do you do for clients best?
Help them figure out what their brand is, and like that's the best representation of what I can tell you I've done for the past 10 years is try to help my clients figure out what their brand is, what it looks like, and how the end user is going to perceive it.
Okay, so I think you need to turn that lens on this website, because you need to say that right at the beginning of the site, because I don't think that I don't think that streaming belongs in here. If you're looking to use this site to onboard more freelance clients, I don't think that like streaming belongs here. I don't think that video editing and animation belongs here. I think that you literally focus in on the one good thing that you do for clients. Now, that being said, do you turn work away? Like, let's say somebody came in, they were like, man, I need a new brand. Maybe they're a streamer or something. Maybe they saw you on Twitch and they found your website or something like that. And they need a new brand, but then they also need some video editing done on a regular basis. You don't have to say no to that work. You can still do that work, but it doesn't need to make it into the site, because the sites should have a single purpose, is to serve that main user for that one specific need. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. So it's actually interesting you say that, because one of the things I've been considering doing is using the Squalldog creative domain that I purchased, because this is something I've been going back and forth with, is using the Squalldog domain specifically for my content creation and my streaming, and using the Squalldog creative domain specifically for just, the brand strategy and consulting that I try to do for my clients. This is, yeah.
Yeah, if that helps you kind of like delineate and draw the line in the sand, I would absolutely, definitely do that. We lost some music. Hold up.
Okay, so my next question then to follow would be, would it be advantageous for me to mention something on the creator side of, design agency or some garbage like that, and then take them to a separate site, or should I just leave that completely off of the streaming persona altogether?
If you did surface that somewhere, I would put it far down on the hierarchy of information. So like maybe in the contact, section, you have a Twitch link or something like that. The way that I'm doing my personal site is like Twitch is one of the main pieces of like the main social media channels that I'm focused on. So Twitch and YouTube and stuff. So I think that like that would be an appropriate place to surface that, but I wouldn't put it in any position of importance.
So like put it like just a link in the footer that mentions it, but doesn't like overly say, hey, this is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Maybe even on the contact page where you're like, hey, get in touch to start a project or something like that. Under that language, you could say, if you want to get to know me, I stream on Twitch, come hang out.
I got you.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. I'm right there with you. I'm tracking you. The other thing I would ask you too is, I really like what I did with my logo as a streamer, and I wanted to bring that over into the agency side. I'm not sure how I feel about it in the agency side, if it works. By the way, I actually have, since I uploaded that image, I've dropped the shadow from below the icon in Squalldog Creative. I dropped that shadow out from underneath that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure, like, just your thoughts on using the Squalldog Creative, or should I come up with something different? I know I had a buddy of mine that actually mentored me, and he's been in graphic and web design now for 20 years, and he mentored me 10 years ago and taught me about this. And one of the things he told me is that anytime you have a brand that's like a sister of another brand, is the design is almost always the logos are very similar to each other, so you can tell that they're of the same brand. But I'm not sure how I feel about that here.
It depends. I would go back to the user and check with them, because it feels like you're trying to pull everything under one umbrella here. And if you're just one person, this kind of Squalldog Creative versus Squalldog Gaming, this distinction that you have under the same brand, it might not even matter to the users, because somebody who's going to hire you for branding just might not be a gamer, or they might not be interested in watching things on Twitch or something like that. So I don't think that like that's a problem worth putting too much time behind solving. What I would do though is drop all of the like special effects from the logo. Seriously, like the bevel and emboss, the outlines, and I would take a look at the form and shape of the mark, because you're running into like legibility issues with this one because you don't have that gradient background on it. If you flip things to black and white, I think that the legibility issues would be even further or even more greater. So instead of focusing on like how to classify, I think it's fine for you to use the same name for both, because I don't think the users are going to matter, but I would spend some time on the typography for this mark. You also have kind of a hierarchy thing, an issue here. I would probably make creative smaller and definitely have this word in a single color. Because when you're calling out a single letter or two letters like this, the user's going to wonder why. And I can't identify a pattern or a reason that these would be a different color. So I would simplify, and I would kind of like work on the mark in and of itself, the typography and the relationship to the icon, before moving into trying to create like an umbrella parent brand in two different services. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying not to be like super harsh, because like
no, be as blunt and brutal as possible.
okay. Okay, all right, yeah. So that
the way I learn is if I get ripped apart. Like that's just the way I learn is, and that's how I've always been. Is anytime I have anybody that's kind of like a mentor or something like that, like being brutally honest with me is the only way that I pick up. Like, so the way that my brain processes, if somebody's trying to be nice or cordial, then I'm thinking, okay, well, some of this works and I can keep it, and then I just do whatever. But like, if it's like, nah, dude, like this just looks like garbage, like you need to go back to the drawing board, then I'm like, okay, noted. That's what I'm doing.
I won't say that. I think that there are things that you have going on here that aren't, terrible. I don't mind the type lockup here, like the Squalldog in and of itself. I think that the nice curve to the bottom gives it a little personality. The thing is that in my opinion, these two typefaces don't match. They don't meld, because you have this really strong, bold serif font up here paired with this one, which is like sophisticated and modern and a little bit delicate. So I don't think that these two match. And I think that honestly, if you just went with this word mark, whereas Squalldog, without any of the other stuff and without any of the text, you'd be happy with that. Like this in black or this just in red would be strong enough as a logo to live on its own. And then the icon, I think that like, illustration wise, there's some tweaks that you can make. Like, I'm not sure what this shape is in the middle and this, because it doesn't, that's a what?
That's supposed to be the ear.
Okay. Yeah, I did not get that at all. So I didn't get that at all with the ear, because it's a different color and it's a different weight than the rest of these lines. So even, as you're changing the weight of the line thickness throughout the piece, it's like, it just, for some reason, that stands out to me. So I think there's some refinement to do here. And then everything in me wants to wrap this in something, like put it on a coin shape, put it in a circle or something like that to make it an emblem versus just an illustration of a lion.
Can I put something in Discord real quick so you can kind of see what I ripped the face from?
Sure.
All right.
And then we got to move on. So Vitality, you can actually submit. It's in Discord in the critique requests. So feel free to jump in there and post your link. Okay, so Delicious Goatmeal asks, is there a reference to FF8?
Yes, absolutely. So when I first started this, and I just put the icon up. Crap, I'm putting the wrong.
I just realized I'm sharing the wrong window in chat room. Too thick, and you definitely don't want to use the gradient inside the illustration, but as a solid piece, I could see this living on top of your Squalldog thing instead of overlapping, and it'd be really, really strong.
So you think I should use this as Squalldog Creative instead of the other?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that one is literally like, I mean, the other one is too, but that one is literally something I pieced together from the bottom up.
Yeah, I would use this, and I think that there's ways that you can make it even better, where if you go back in and take a look at the way that like the shapes fit together. So for example, this right here, this piece, being able to like make it kind of fit in that gap a little bit smoother, and kind of keep these spaces in between these elements the same throughout. That'll make it easier for somebody to recognize that this is like an accent onto the shape. Are we back? Because I'm about to throw my monitor through the window. Like, all right, so I'm gonna be.
Video to catch up with the
Absolutely. Yeah. So I would definitely, use this version versus the other one, and I would kind of work on refining it just a bit. Just in those small details, making sure that the shapes fit together. Like in the ear here, like this is recognizable as an ear for me, but you can see this shape, this head shape kind of runs into the ear outline there. I would make sure that like those are consistent spacing throughout. So just small tweaks like that, making sure that this is legible on small sizes. This to me is a stronger mark than the other one.
I appreciate it, man. And delicious. I'll put up an explanation of how I came up with the Squalldog and everything if you want.
Yeah, please do. Throw it in Discord. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Hope that helped.
Man, thank you.
Oh, man. All right, goat meal. You ready? I hope you're ready, man, because I'm pulling you in. Y'all, I don't know what is going on. They say, so let's see, Squalldog actually suggested that might be my bitrate settings. I don't know. I need help. I need an adult. Not Real Frosty, thank you for the follow. Well, it's Vitality, thank you for the follow. TX Vox and Shown Q's, thank you for the follow. And Festino8, I don't know if I got you before, but thanks, appreciate it. Dude, you guys, we are exploding. I don't know if you've seen this, but we have 610 followers already. This is nuts. It's crazy. Yeah, RIP monitor, exactly. All right, delicious goat meal. You ready? Let's see, I'll go in here. And...
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on? I'm gonna turn you way up. Here we go.
I am on here.
I know, right? All right, so John Thatcher. Is this you?
Yeah, the stream is catching up for me. Hold on, let me refresh again.
If you go into the stream chat room in Discord, you'll be able to see my screen in real time.
Alright, cool. Yeah, sorry, I'm a Discord noob here.
All good. All good. Okay, so give me some context and then help me zone in on what you need feedback on.
Yeah, sure. So this is my portfolio page that I worked on during my UX UI bootcamp.
Okay.
And that and these projects here actually they're all projects that I've done over at my bootcamp.
Mm-hmm.
And this portfolio has gone under this is like the fourth redesign, fourth iteration, and I'm actually working on a new design on it right now.
Okay.
Slowly but surely. And yeah, so like I mean, I'm not exactly thrilled with the design. Like I personally just thinks it looks a little too simple.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really sure if it's like indeed because right now I'm using my portfolio to search for jobs.
Okay.
And I've been linking it all over, and so far I haven't really gotten any bites yet, or I haven't even got any like interviews yet.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering if there's like something wrong with my portfolio or just need some help.
Well, I think that you hit the nail on the head with the layout overall. I think that it's a little too simple. And I think that there's a lot of things that we can do better. And if you're looking for a UX job, this is the only thing that they're going to be evaluating you on. So I think that like pushing the typography, doing something unique and creative, you want to stand out among the crowd, and that's not what I'm seeing here. I don't like, I've seen tons of portfolios, and with yours, I don't think that there's any crimes, at least from the homepage that we've seen so far. There's no design crimes. There's no, nothing wrong. I think it's just, it can be improved in order to stand out. And this is probably why you're not getting any callbacks, is because somebody's going to hit this site, they're going to give it a scroll, and they're probably going to bail out. So I think that giving the person, the hiring manager, a reason to stay is key for you. So I don't mind your copy. Like, hey, I'm John Thatcher. I'm a designer who engages in creative solutions to complex problems. I do think that this is a little vague. So I think that you should state, hey, I'm a UX designer who likes to work with XYZ, whatever that industry is, or anything like that. But I do think that like the copy that introduces you should probably be more important than your name in this situation. So I think some hierarchy shift there, because they're already going to know it's you because they're clicking on your link from your intro email or something like that. So give them what matters to them first, because if they're looking for a UI designer or a packaging designer, they're going to want to know that pretty right off the bat. The other thing is that you could miss all of your projects if you don't scroll. So the one danger to this kind of effect where you scroll over something and then it brings in the preview image is that if you don't know to scroll over these things or to hover over these things, you could miss it. And that's what I'm missing here is that I went to the bottom of the page and that was it. So I'm curious to see, and you could probably see this with analytics or heat mapping, is how many people actually go to these things. The other thing is that remember what I said at the beginning, you want to give that hiring manager something to hold on to. So if your work is good, like this Revel project, the Pantry app, Omnibus, if this stuff is good, then you want to display it. You want to make sure that they see it, and hiding it under these hover effects might not be the best solution for you. And then the other thing is that the project section is further hidden because it's not in the main nav. So if I wanted to look at your projects, I'd go up here ooh, maybe I would just bail from here. Scroll to the bottom, don't see them, go up here, don't see them. All right, next. Because you have literally 2 or 3 minutes. And, oh, sorry guys. Yeah, I can adjust the volume. Hold on 1 second. So you literally have, 1 or 2 or 3 minutes to make an impression with a hiring manager, because they're going to be reviewing tons of applications. So I would uncover your projects. I would put the preview images out here somewhere, unless the typography is such that the user just can't resist putting their mouse on it. In which case, this stuff's pretty cool. So let's take a look at one of the projects real quick. The Pantry app.
Yeah, don't do that one.
Okay. If you don't want me to see this, then you probably don't want your hiring managers to see this. So I would either revise it or remove it.
Fine.
Okay. All right. So we've got Revel. Revel makes it easier for DJs and bands to find their next paying gigs, and Revel also makes it easier for others to hire for those gigs. Okay, the wording's a little weird, but it's clear that this is an app for a specific purpose. And we're scrolling down. Very cool. Yeah, this is great. This is a great case study. If I'm hiring for a UX role, this is what I want to see. Very cool. Are you also a visual designer?
I'm striving to be more visual, but I guess more of my strength is more in part of the research, as you can see here.
Okay. So if that's the case, there's no shame. I think that this is fine. The thing is that up here, you've got this small preview, but I kind of want more. And there's tons of different ways to portray an app design that's super, super sexy. So I would want the big hook, like the hottest images that you have of this project to be up here. And this does not cut it for me. I need more. Especially how small it is on the screen. I would want to see it large and in charge. And it's even better if there's like a gallery right up top that they can swipe through or something like that. Because the process is very well documented, and I like to see that, especially for UX stuff. So this is all good. It's just I need that heavy hitting impact for the visuals to go all the way up top. So let's see.
So just show them the eye candy first before getting into the whole research.
Yep. Okay, cool. Good call to action at the bottom. Let's see. Obviously, this is a student project, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay, so you're not going to have any impact. So what I do like is that you do have a conclusion section and you talk about testing this with actual users. So that's important. That checks a box for me, because if it's just visuals or if it's just research that isn't followed up with any testing, it doesn't really mean much to me. So this is good. I think we just need more up here to really visually hook the person who's browsing this site and considering you for a job. Also, the page layout is way more interesting on these pages. So I know it's tough. Like the homepage is like literally the most difficult thing to design and to plan for, especially on your personal site. But I think that like you've got the skills, so turn that lens onto the homepage and improve that. All right.
Yeah, and you're right. It has been difficult. Like I mean, the reason why my redesign's like taking forever, because I just can't decide on a good layout for the homepage.
One thing that you may want to do, I know you're improving your visual design skills, but there is no shame in partnering with a great UI designer or even somebody that's in like the branding space, because a UX person, if you're looking for a UX job, that's going to be the majority is research and testing and working with users, doing focus groups and stuff like that. And so you're going to be working with designers on a regular basis. So whenever I look at a UX designer's website that's really, really good, if they didn't design it themselves, I'm not going to discount that. I'm not going to like get down on them or look down on them because they didn't design their own site. You can partner up with somebody that's a really good designer and kind of trade services to come out with a very good site. You don't have to do it all yourself,
Yeah, true. That's a really good point.
And the crazy thing is the more you work with other designers, especially other designers that are better than you, the better you get. That's the quickest way that I've increased my design skills. Like working with Blind, my design eye and my design skills went way up because I was working next to people like Jamie and Matthew and Greg. And I was seeing the kinds of things that they were putting on paper, and I was like, man, this is amazing. So it's an opportunity to collab with somebody, especially if they need UX help or something that you could actually, help them with. Go collab.
Yeah, that's really true. I mean, that's the reason why I started watching your streams and other designer streams over on Twitch, so I could watch their processes and, of course, like engage with them, like I'm doing right now.
Yeah, cool. And then let's see. Sam had a good point. If you're gonna put a headshot on the homepage, make sure it's like a really good quality one. So grab a buddy with an iPhone, like one with the portrait mode, and head outside at like 5 or 6 p.m. and get a good quality photo of yourself. Because this looks like you're in your bedroom you have like a webcam photo taken.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I knew it. And so you want something a little bit more professional. Cool. All right, man. Well, I hope that helps.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, I got one quick question for you, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I know you're limited time, but I've read somewhere that like when going to case studies, like you can tell the difference between a junior designer and a senior designer is the amount of words, if that makes any sense. Because like right now, my biggest worry is that my case studies are too long.
I don't think that they're too long at all. I think that like there are readers and there are skimmers. There's not anything in between. And this is definitely going to appeal to both. So if it feels wordy, it's okay. The only thing that I would improve is your headings. This is something I go really, really deep in on the complete case study. But I would not use the steps of the process as your headings. So user stories, user flows. I would actually give the skimmers something to bite their teeth into. So instead of saying overview, problem, target audience, say what the problem is. Hook them into reading the text below. And that's the only improvement that I would make, but I would not cut it down, because some hiring managers, if they, or maybe even not hiring managers, maybe it's going to be like creative directors or art directors that are going to receive your website from a hiring manager. They're going to read this, if they're a reader, and really dig into the words that you're writing. You just need to satisfy those skimmers with good headlines, so that the headlines actually convey the narrative of the story.
That's wow. Okay, that's really good.
Cool.
Great.
All right. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. You're a regular, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much for having this.
Yeah.
And thanks so much for doing critique on my portfolio.
Absolutely, man. All right, I'm giving you the boot. Going to waiting room. Okay, so let's see. I've literally got time for like one more. So Vitality, if you're still in the chat, make your way to the waiting room. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to hit this waiting room. Just double click it. That'll bring you in, and make sure that your mic is on and that you're ready to go. As soon as I see you in there, I'll pull you live. What a weird day. Stream craps out like 40,000 times. It's productive though. Yo, Vitality. Jump in that waiting room in Discord. Oh, for sure. Delicious Goat Meal has been there from the beginning. Same as Moonraid. And Sam. Appreciate you guys. Any tips for someone who wanted to start in web design or UI UX design? Well, first, I think you should start with what you want to start with. Like, is it web design? Is it more product design stuff? UX stuff? I would kind of explore all three of those careers and see what you're interested in. Oh, you missed the first week? Oh. All right. Let's see. Let's pull Vitality live. Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Right on. All right. So just make sure your stream audio is off, and you'll save bandwidth if you just close the window. So when you double click the stream chat, so the room that you're in, you should be able to see my screen. And I'm going to click on your site here in a sec. There we go. Okay, you should be able to see that.
Yep.
Right on. Okay, so give us some context. Let us know, who you are, what you do, and then help me shape this critique. Like, what do you want feedback on?
Cool. Well, first, this is awesome to get to talk to you. I'm a long follower of the future.
Oh, right on.
Seeing you kind of what you've done over the couple of years, so it's pretty cool to sit with a critique for you.
Thanks.
So I basically started a freelance company. By the looks of my site, I did not brand as myself. I branded as a company, and I've had a couple clients here and there doing web design, and just kind of an overview, kind of what your thoughts are on as a first-time reader.
Very cool. All right. So as far as like the initial screen, everything above the fold is beautiful. So great color scheme, great logo. I'm loving the gridded layout. You're using the browser. It's a good canvas that I'm looking at. I also like your messaging. So you have a story, tell the world, contact us now. So if I'm reading headlines, it's like, okay, so you're gonna help me broadcast this. Where are you located? What city is that? Is that your town, or is that just stock?
Sunny Orlando.
Okay. And is that Orlando in the background?
No, that's stock. You caught me.
All good. No, it's fine. It looks like Richmond, Virginia, and I was like, are you in RVA?
My thinking there was the video was that shot there is Lake Eola, that's Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Was the small business. So you know, the barbershop, the small boutique.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of with some kind of cool stock video in between.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my target, is the small business.
Gotcha. Okay. So first, I don't want to get into this today, but I think that the small business is a bad target to have, because
I know that
all you're saying,
all your philosophy.
yeah, all you're saying is that you're open. You want to work with every business kind in the world, as long as they don't have a lot of money. That's what you're saying when you say you specialize in small business, small budgets. So I would work on that position just a little bit. But as far as the site goes, it's beautiful. The branding's beautiful. The only thing is that you might have too much going on above the fold. So right now there's 3 options, and I generally like to see, only one above the fold in the hero. So what's the one thing that your users want to see or want to do when they hit your homepage? It's probably to either view your services or view your work. And so that would prioritize that. Asking for a contact in the home hero or request a consultation, it's bold, but it's basically like saying, hey, will you marry me on the first date? So I would kind of like, obviously you have this up in the header, so at any time the person can, scroll up and contact you that way. I would use this to start the user on the journey of becoming a customer versus asking for them right off the bat. And I would also use your analytics, because you have 3 options here. I would look into which one they click more. Yeah, I love your palette. It's great. This is really cool. Yeah, this is really nice. Cool menu. Let's take a look at one of the services. So I like that you're surfacing the services individually on the menu, because if somebody's looking for web design, if they've already diagnosed that they need that, or they already diagnosed that they need marketing or branding, they can click on this, they can read about the service, and then see examples of the service here. So I really like the way that your information is structured in your site. Let's take a look.
That was a thought process.
Yep.
I did want to kind of have someone who, you either want A, B, or C. Those are the options. So that was definitely a thought.
Gotcha. All right, so when we get down to the case studies, though, there's a lot lacking here. It's very hard for me to see the work. This is a case study, right?
Yeah, I will say this is probably the part that takes the longest. So once I kind of got the site up and going, I kind of dropped off after.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Yeah, the last redesign that I did for my agency, I did the same thing where I had 2 case studies and then everything else was just a couple images. I think it's fine to use mock-ups, but the thing is that, like, if you're proud of the work, this is not the work. This is like, if we look at a percentage of like the ratio of actual work compared to the mock-up or the background image, you're using like 30% of the space, and it's really difficult to see. So it's going to be hard for your clients to look at something and say, like, this is work that stands up to what I want to do. Also, I'm not seeing any impact. I'm not seeing any results that you actually got your clients. Like, was there an improvement in conversion rate? Was there improvement in their users' experience? All this kind of stuff. So I think that the only place that your site falls apart is here, is in the case studies. The other thing too is that you've used the browser, like the full width of the browser, in the majority of the homepage and the services page. When we got here, this feels like a blog post, and that almost deprioritizes the actual work. And I think that, like, losing the sidebar on case studies would be important, because right now I'm a little like, does he want me to move on? Like, it's hard for me to see these images anyways, and then you're making the content area even smaller. So if I were to direct you to focus on anything, it would be these pages right here. Like, this template is what I would really spent a lot of time on.
That is, it is definitely. I was using the blog.
The blog post, yeah.
Yeah, as my sorting for content for that.
Yeah.
So that's very true.
Yep. Yeah, so I would just lose this sidebar. If you're doing this in WordPress, it's pretty easy to disable this part. And then, focus on the content of these case studies, because your clients are going to need a lot more both text and images to understand, like, what value you provided people in the past. So other than that, man, great branding, great site. It looks cool. It performs really well. You should definitely be proud of this one.
Well, that means a lot.
Oh, cool. All right, man. Well, best of luck. Hope that helped.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay.
All right.
We gotta hear the hard parts.
We'll see you online.
Thanks.
Well, cool, guys. I'm pretty thrilled about that one. The orange and blue, it's a classic combo that can get really overwhelming really quickly. But it's just done so nicely here. Like, use of space is really good. Very pretty. Very pretty. We have had a productive day. 3 pages knocked out, finalized. Our type scale and our type system is pretty much finalized. Colors are finalized. The next thing that we need to do is work on the My Story page. And then let me just see here. And the case study pages. That's it. That's all we need to do on our on the personal website. So we are moving right along, and I'm thinking that we can start developing next week, which is really, really exciting. So I'm stoked for that. Well, I think that's it. Squalldog, bro, thank you. No, thank you. If anybody knows anything about bit rates, Squalldog, maybe you and I need to chat after this, because I'm sick of the stream crashing, being unstable. Definitely got to change that. All right, so let's find somebody to raid. Let's see, Twitch TV. Let's pull this up. Rainbow Six Siege is actually moving up in the rankings I've seen on Twitch. I haven't played it. Let's see if there's anybody that's doing anything that's like relatable to our world. Not in art. Maybe makers? Some keyboardists. Let's see if we can search design. I don't think so. Oh, AA. I didn't even see him. All right, we'll raid A. All right, you guys. Thank you for the for hanging in there through all the streaming difficulties today. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Tomorrow we'll be on time. I think Charlie's gonna go Tuesday and Friday. And so whenever she's on, and if she's really jamming on something like in Webflow or something like that, I'll probably delay the stream just a bit to give her that airtime and stuff. I'm also watching her, so there's that. But tomorrow will be the normal time. I'll see you 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So appreciate it. And show A some love as we raid. Let's get this set up real quick. A and starting. All right, so you guys can opt in and show them some love in the chat. We'll go hang out with A. Appreciate it, Moonraid. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Delicious Goat Meal and Squalldog for coming online, and Vitality Design. Really great having you guys on for critiques. So we will see you guys tomorrow.
Ben. Welcome. How are you today? How is everyone going?